How are you? God, I'm just realising I need to take another painkiller before I bloody start. Oh, this tooth! It's really annoying me now. Really annoying me. I'm just having a look for Nurofen. I was just saying over on Instagram, I'm so lazy when it comes... Am I buffering? Tell me if I'm buffering. Oh, please don't say I haven't got any more Nurofen. Yes, I have. Thank the Lord Almighty. How are you all this morning? Why am I talking in a mock Irish accent? I don't know. I just fancied it. Morning. How are you all? Lovely to see you. You don't even want to see, look. Left the washing up last night. Just couldn't be arsed. What with my tooth and my misery. And Mark drove me mad with the live. He was being so annoying. Maybe I'll be able to concentrate now. I've got this really weird prickling feeling around on my face as well. Oh, God, it's been such a miserable bloody week since I had... The biggest mistake I ever made was taking this tooth out. The pain is worse since I took the tooth out. Teddy is... he was annoying if your tolerance level is lower, yes. He was very annoying, Bobby Jackson, very annoying. But we love him anyway, don't we? Welcome if you've just come over from YouTube, from Instagram. Give me a hand waving emoji so I can welcome you. Listen, guys, organised by you know who. I'm very mindful of saying any names because I know that can bring out the nasty troll people. But suffice to say, this is absolutely beautiful and it really, really moved Mark and I, and we're going to do a private thank you message to you all. Very, very, very special. Can you see me? I've only got like a head, haven't I? And no like... Da-da-da-da! How's that? Okay. Right. Oh, yeah, my teeth. It's here. I'm wondering if, because I had my mouth open for so long... oh, look, somebody there, deep cleaning, and 2 weeks later, it's still hurting. Still killing you. It just jangles the nerves, doesn't it? He was digging about for the root for so long. I mean, the root is still there. That's the annoying thing. I'd rather give birth than go to the dentist, says Katie Wilson. Thank God for painkillers. We are so lucky. I always think, I know I'm weird. Mark says, you're so weird the way you always do that. But I always think, you know when you see these awful... You know when you see these documentaries, or you might see an item on the news about these terrible prisons where people are just packed in other countries, and I always think of it, it's the weirdest thing, I always think, imagine if you had toothache in there. Imagine if you had toothache, because I think it's the one thing none of us can imagine surviving, is it, when it really kicks in? I mean, a while ago, I had a really bad infection in this tooth, the one that I've taken out. And I was on, oh my God, so many painkillers and antibiotics, and nothing was touching the pain. And I was literally banging my head on the wall. That's how bad it was. Oh, just awful. Who's that? Had their second vaccination yesterday. No side effects, but I feel exhausted. Yes, Ross, that is definitely a symptom. Oh, look, I can see you here. I felt that, but... You know, it's like I always say, whenever you've got your vaccine booked, try and book a day off the next day, because you need to just lie around and do nothing, really. So who have we got here? Morning, Lynn Sheard. Morning, Claire Smiley. Morning, Sharon Goddess. Morning, Sally Griffin. Sometimes they touch a nerve. Exactly, Sally. Ruth Hanrahan. You might already know this, but when I had tooth pain, applying clove oil and salt. Yeah. Well, I've been rinsing with salt... the whole time, like 3-4 times a day, and it really does help. Hello, Anne McGrary. The tooth left that has probably had bad... That's what I worry about. Is the root that's in there, the bloody root that was rotten anyway. But enough of my teeth and my moaning. Well, it is tough coffee moaning, though, isn't it? If this is your first time here and you're wondering about Coffee Moaning, now usually with Coffee Moaning, we do the news. We do a lot on the news. And it's just me today. And again, I just think there's not really anything new. What's happening in Jersey? Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you believe that we've now deployed 2 ships? 2 Navy ships because France might cut off the Jersey's electricity. I mean, what the hell? So, yeah, we don't really want to talk about that. I'm sorry, but the local elections just, Mark and I were saying last night, we don't care enough to talk about it. And COVID and the Indian variant, we've done it to death at the minute. We just are so cross about the fact that we still have planes coming in. We feel so brokenhearted for the Indian people and how massively they've been let down. And, you know, it just enrages me. It just absolutely enrages me. So we've done a lot of that this week. So I thought, why don't we have a little trip down memory lane? Nick Kamen. Oh my God, I was really horrified when I read this yesterday. I mean, he's 59. I think most people that around in the 80s fancied him like crazy. I don't know who it was, somebody today. So I think Matt Lucas said, if you didn't fancy Nick Kamen in the 80s, you probably weren't there. So I've just been reading up a bit about him this morning. And remember Amanda de Cadenet that used to go, what was the show that Amanda de Cadenet was in? What was it? She married John Taylor, didn't she, from Duran Duran? But they were famously boyfriend and girlfriend, Nick Kamen and Amanda de Cadenet. I mean, what a pair. I remember her in an interview actually just saying, he's the most good-looking person. He's so unbelievably good. The word, that's it, Sandra. He's so unbelievably good-looking that I just stay awake looking at him through the night while he sleeps because he's so beautiful. And he's always beautiful every single second, every single moment. He's beautiful. So she posted about him today, and actually it was very sweet because she said, the very last thing that he would be wanting people to talk about was the fact that he was a sex symbol, the fact his connection with Madonna, the fact that he, you know, the Levi's ad. But unfortunately, that is what people are going to talk about because that's what people remember him for. And unless you were lucky enough to be his friend, as she obviously was, we wouldn't know the other things that she spoke about today, which were, she said, I know you as somebody that created beautiful art, as somebody that loved to cook, as somebody whose practice was the most important thing to him. He was a Buddhist, and he had been battling the horrors of bone marrow cancer for the last 4 years. What was that? Did somebody say? His brother died in 2015. Yeah. Well, I didn't know when, but I saw in Amanda de Cadenet's post, she said, you know, I hope that you're with your brother now. Yeah, yeah, I mean, where were we yesterday when it popped up on my phone? Oh, his brother had the same disease, did he? Just awful. Can you imagine for his family? Just awful. I think apparently there were many times that he fought a really hard battle, and there was many times that his family thought they would lose him and he would push through over and over again. So, yeah, absolutely heartbreaking. Rest in peace, absolutely. So, yeah, Madonna's just paid a tribute to him as well. God, Madonna's always been the best at spotting the best looking guy and then employing him, wasn't he? Because I didn't realise they had a hit together. What was it called? Each Time You Break My Heart. I don't remember that. Does anybody else? And she was like backing vocals. And she says, you were always such a kind, sweet human. You suffered too much. Hope you are happy wherever you are, Nick Kamen. Now, who knows what his actual name was? It wasn't Nick. What was his name? Who knows what his name was? It's like, it's not the coolest name. Does anyone know what his name was? No? Yes, sorry. Ivor Neville Kamen. Yeah. Apparently he had an absolutely beautiful voice. I have to be honest, I don't remember his song. But I mean, the ad, I'm sorry, like, if you found it embarrassing, but for me, that's my biggest memory of him. And that ad was something else. And it was, as far as I can remember, the first ad where, I remember as a young woman, just feeling so empowered by this ad. The fact that there was this group of women ogling this man. Of course, we've had sort of copies since, haven't we? The Diet Coke ones. But it was the first one. And it was so damn sexy. It was so damn sexy. And for me, white boxer shorts, that was everything after that. Oh, we all wanted to be in that laundrette, Rachel. We all wanted to be there. Let me see, what are your memories? Yeah, I remember the ad. Yeah, rest in peace, says Louise. Welcome, Mary Callahan. The first time here for ages. Teresa A, I used to sprint to the TV when the laundrette ad came on. He was so gorgeous. Yeah, who remembers what the song was that accompanied it? Of course, Mark remembered immediately. Yes, that song was. And yeah. What was the song? What was the song? Aaron Bullymore, I wasn't saying I wasn't going to vote. I said I wasn't going to talk about it today. I absolutely believe we should all vote. Bobby Jackson, there were so many people at the university doing copies of him in the laundrette, was there? Was there anyone that came up to par? Anyone even close? Heard it through the grapevine. Exactly, Xander. I heard it through the grapevine. Is that right? Have I got it wrong? Blue jeans. Let's just talk about those blue jeans. Betuna Sandhurst says, if it was on now, some idiot would complain. Would they? Do you think it would stir people up now and make complaints? Just trying to think. Because we've got the Diet Coke ads that are quite similar, aren't they? With all the women in the office pulling down their glasses, having a look, ogling. Yes, Brenda McGee heard it through the grapevine. Now, what that must have done for Levi's 501s, I can't imagine. Can you? I presume the sales were unlike anything else. Just having a look here. My God, he had so many famous girlfriends, didn't he? Talisa Soto, God, she was beautiful. Tatiana Patsit, the supermodel. Amanda de Cadney, God, she was so gorgeous. My God, I'm just looking at some photos of him. He was just like, he was everyone rolled into one, wasn't he? He was Elvis Presley. He was James Dean. But there was every single thing, every single part of that ad was perfect, wasn't it? The beautiful car, the music, the guys, the lighting, everything. Massive sales, everyone wanted to look like him. Yeah. Everyone was suddenly really dissatisfied with their boyfriend. Yeah, he was just so beautiful. He was so beautiful, inside and out. That's what a lot of people seem to be saying, that he was, a really decent, lovely human being, as well as everything else. Yeah, I bet Levi will bring it out again. I'm surprised they haven't before, actually. Those were the days when adverts were, like somebody just said there, she used to rush in to watch it, when adverts were almost appointment to view. I can't think of an advert recently where we would all talk about it. They seem to have gone off. Maybe it's because they know most of us fast forward through the adverts now. Yeah, they did. Shelley Moss. They used to be so much better. Okay, so I thought, I don't know, did any of you listen to Sober Dave and Mark's podcast? Angela Locke, remember sitting in the bath to shrink Levi's. Do you think that actually ever worked? We all did it, but I don't know if it actually worked. It was just grossly uncomfortable. Ads were like mini art house films. Crap now. Yeah, someone somewhere. They were like mini art house films. Hang on. Yes, Emma, you listened to Mark's podcast. I know quite a few of you. It's going up there. So the podcast was fantastic. Mark is so articulate when he speaks. Gabrielle, he is. He is, and it was funny because he was a bit nervous before he did it. And I said, oh my God, just use it like you would an AA meeting where you just like dump your stuff and just talk, you know. And then he was really worried that you'd overshared about it. And I said, well, that's almost definite that you overshared. Let's face it. We are oversharers. That's what we do. Just going to close this door. It's freezing. Oh, really, Becky? That's a pain. Yeah, so it just got me thinking. And then, you know, did you see about Michelle Heaton going into rehab? It really upset me. She's such a lovely girl. She really is. You might remember her, you know, from Liberty X. And she's had to put up with so much. She has the, I see her husband, Hugh. That's it, her husband, Hugh. Yeah, she's had to put up with so much because she had to have a double mastectomy, I'm just checking it, in 2015 to reduce her risk of cancer. But she's really been struggling through lockdown. And her husband, Hugh, is lovely as well, posted about this the other day. No one should ever suffer in silence, but it takes real strength to speak up and do something about it. Sorry, it makes me just emotional. Sorry. At Wonder Woman Show, you're doing your family proud. And yes, she will be. And she always, there's such a lovely couple. She always talks so beautifully about him. So yeah, it was 2012. She had a hysterectomy and a double mastectomy. I mean, which will have meant being plunged in, well, it did, because I remember interviewing her, I think on Lorraine or Lucille, plunged into menopause very quickly, which we all know. Anyone that's had the menopause, it's incredibly difficult. But so I said to Mark, I think this morning I'm going to talk about being the partner of somebody that struggles with alcohol, because I was thinking over the last week, I've been thinking a lot about Hugh. As I said, I don't know him, just met him, you know, I'm not friends of these people, but obviously I know them from years ago, coming in and out of shows like Lorraine and Loose Women, and I think they're really lovely people. And I think that we talk a lot about alcoholism on here, but we don't often talk about being the partner of. And it's a really strange thing. I remember when Mark went into rehab. Oh my God, yes, Tim Reed, Al-Anon. Al-Anon for families and partners of and friends of alcoholics is a really good, you know, it's part of the fellowship. Al-Anon, Alateen. There's so Overeaters Anonymous. There's so many different fellowships within the fellowship. And Al-Anon I used to go to when Mark first came out of the Priory as families of alcoholics. It's enormously stressful. You know, he will now be at home with the kids, worried sick about her, but also I found there was this really strange, contradictory set of feelings going on, I suppose, because on the one hand, I was relieved and happy for him, for Mark, when he went into rehab. And then, 16 years ago, Bobby Jackson, 16 years he's been sober. Or maybe it's 17, I always get it wrong. But at the same time, I was totally exhausted. because, you know, there's always somebody that's holding everything together. And in fact, you know, what I learned when Mark went into rehab was that actually, without realizing it, I had been rescuing and facilitating him to actually carry on, you know, drinking by, you know, making excuses. And what's what behind me, Xander? What's what? Don't! Yeah, so, you know, it's not easy. It's incredibly difficult to be the partner of somebody that is either an active alcoholic or indeed somebody that is struggling with sobriety or just trying to maintain sobriety. You know, it's incredibly hard. It's really, Mark and I just did a podcast this morning, Confessions of a Modern Parent, on managing teens and alcohol. Alcohol is such a fucking massive thing within society. And in this country, even more so. Everything we do seems to have to be around alcohol in some way. And, you know, it's really important that the person that is supporting the person as they're getting, you know, the addict as they're trying to get sober gets some support as well, you know. What's wrong with Angela? Are you all right, Angela? I just see that. So Angela, all right? Just see somebody said, I hope you're okay. Denise House, don't worry, I'll be doing the member song. So yeah, I just really wanted to just talk about that a bit actually. And just say, if you're one of those people, you might be one of those quiet watchers of this. If you are somebody that is in a relationship with somebody that is, you know, struggling with addiction, oh, she fell down the stairs. Oh, Angela, that was the other day, yesterday, wasn't it? Day before yesterday. I hope you're all right. I hope you're all right. Claire Hemingway, I was the partner of a violent alcoholic. Well, that's a whole other horror, isn't it? I mean, you know, Mark was never. And, you know, so I was able, because if you're in a dangerous situation with somebody, that's a very different thing. But I was able, because I wasn't frightened of Mark, I was just frightened of what he was doing to himself and to our relationship. I was able to, oh God, loads of times, Xander, did you ever think your marriage wouldn't survive? Yeah, loads of times. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had Maddie, it wouldn't have. But I was just determined to make it work. But, you know, I grew up very much with that idea that I think a lot of people do, is that somebody doesn't get help until they want to. It's actually rubbish for a lot of people. I don't know anyone that's got sober. Tim's here. I don't know whether it's the same for you, that just went, oh, do you know what? I've really had enough of this now. I'm going to go and get sober. It doesn't happen very often. Of course, it will happen sometimes, but I don't think it happens very often. There's usually some terrible rock bottom. And some of you will know and some of you won't know that with Mark, the rock bottom was that I said to him, if you ever drink again, you have to leave the house right now. And if you ever drink again, you will never sleep in this house again. And then he went to his mum. I rang his mum. I said, don't let him in. Just if he knocks on the door, if he calls you, don't let him in. And then when he realised there was nobody that was going to, you know, support it anymore, he then went to rehab. I think he went to an AA meeting and then he went to rehab. And that's how he got sober. But as I said, running up and towards that, and that's why I'm thinking of Hugh, Michelle Heaton's husband, it was so exhausting. It usually has to get so bad before you get to that point, and then that, you know, and then that feeling of relief and, you know, and sadness and anger. I remember feeling so rageful. And it was funny because a lot of the partners of people that were in rehab at the time, you know, I would have to go in every Thursday. Every Thursday you would go in and it would be the family day. And, oh God, we would all be raging. We'd be raging because a lot of the anger you'll have kept in over time would all be just like, Slacking off our partners. Yeah, well, it's all right for them being in here, being looked after. Oh my God, the resentment. I mean, I was so glad that he was in, but also the resentment because they're getting the understanding, they're talking about all their shit, they're getting, and you're just like left with the kids and the house and the worry and everything and the cost. And yeah, I mean, what I had, I mean, at that time, we were struggling for money and it wasn't easy. And, my heart goes out to people when they can't afford to get get into a rehab. It's just, what would we have done? Well, I mean, it's like Mark says, it's totally incredible when you see people just get sober. Like there's one guy that in one of the AA meetings that he used to go to, who was homeless and a chronic alcoholic, and he got sober not by going to rehab but by going to AA meetings every single day, because don't forget they're free, and that's how he got sober. And Mark always says it's totally extraordinary. I think sometimes Mark feels embarrassed that he went to rehab because he feels almost guilty that he could. But I said, you just can't. You just can't. Everybody has different experiences, and I don't think it's ever anything that you should feel bad about. Or, he had a lot of shit going on in his life before he got to rehab, so I think it's okay. Yeah, absolutely, Bobby Jackson. Bobby's there saying, I read that deaths are higher. Alcoholic deaths are much higher since COVID. Unbelievable figures out there on that. Yeah. And again, whenever I read those, I always go to Sally Griffin. I didn't go to rehab, AA meetings only. Sally, you're incredible. You are incredible. I know Tim Reed did 90 meetings in 90 days. Well, when Mark came out of rehab, he did 90 meetings in 90 days. Isn't that incredible that every day, again though, is lockdown, people can get into meetings. But I would say it's just as important. Like, I really hope that Michelle's husband is getting support as well. Because, like, I think when Mark came out of rehab was one of our hardest times, actually. Because, again, I had so much anger and rage about stuff. And I was a bloody nightmare when he came out. I remember, he was in such a good place and he was so lovely, and I was just raging against him. It was just awful. I often feel quite guilty about that. Never told him that, so don't tell him that. Yeah. So Tim Reed on here, Zoom has been a lifesaver. Yeah, Zoom AA meetings. And I think also, Tim, for some people, it's been an easier way to get into the meeting because they haven't had to do that thing of walking through the door. So, maybe if you're struggling, now's the time to do it because there's so many Zoom. Or if you are the partner of, why not try Al-Anon? Because the thing is, the 3 really important C's in Al-Anon is you didn't cause it, you can't cure it or control it. And the thing is, there's nearly always somebody in the background or right up front with somebody that has an alcohol problem, paddling really, really fast, trying to keep everything up and trying to keep everything going and trying to keep... That's exhausting. And actually, in rehab, they did say to us as the families, often that the addict or the alcoholic will just... health will increase and increase and increase, and it's actually often the partners that collapse and get very ill and get all sorts of things because of the stress. So it's so important. It's so important that you look after yourself as well. And Al-Anon is a place that you can go. I mean, we had a message from somebody today whose their 20-year-old son is drinking a bottle of whiskey every 2 days. I mean, can you imagine? My first port of call, my first answer to her was when we were doing the podcast this morning was, you get some help. You go to Al-Anon because that is unbearable. Absolutely unbearable for you, and you need some support. So, yeah, Al-Anon is really, really, can be, it's not for everybody, but can be really helpful. So I suppose that's just what I wanted to say today. If you're struggling because you love somebody, that is struggling with alcohol. That's a lot for you to deal with. And you need support as much as they do. Yeah, Lee Peart. Yeah, and he's 20. Hello, Lee. He's 20. He's bloody 20. Lee, I'm going to ring you after this live if you're free. 20. What's that like for his mum? And I know there's lots of you here who have somebody that you love that struggles. So today I want to put my big arms around you and give you a big kiss and a big hug, because I know what it feels like. And rest in peace, Nick. Lovely Nick, who I think from reading all the obituaries today was a damn fine person, as well as the most sexiest of men ever. There's a little place in all of our hearts for you, Nick. So yeah, fly well to somewhere better than this. Oh, is it Stacey's birthday? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Stacey. Happy birthday to you. Oh, there's somebody just there that said, who is Nick Kamen? You're probably young if you ask that. Nick Kamen was a beautiful, beautiful model singer who was in one of probably the most famous ads ever, the Levi ads in the 80s. And nearly everyone that saw that ad, had man, woman or beast, had a crush on him, a major crush. So it will be on YouTube. So I would say, look for the Nick Kamen Levi's ad. I think we should all have a little look at it again today and just do a little prayer. Lots of love to you all. Big, big kisses. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you've liked spending the last half hour with me, will you please hit the thumbs up just under where I am? Yeah, so hit the subscribe button. Please, can you sing a happy birthday to Jean Wainwright? After months of being at home, she's returning to work very soon. Yes, I can, Sarah Whitfield. Happy birthday, Jean Wainwright. Happy birthday, Jean Wainwright. Happy birthday, Jean Wainwright. And good luck with your first day back at work. Big, big kisses. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you real soon. Lee, I'm going to ring you now.